Hello everyone, welcome to episode 57, live with Sirus Migration, episode 57. It's been a while. So this is I would like to go through and discuss the latest upholding information for in the immigration or migration sector as at August 2022. We were expecting a lot of information to be released by now. Unfortunately, most of the state agents state government agents are waiting for the quota to be released from the federal agents, so we don't have as much state-related information from them. But let's discuss what's new in the immigration industry in Australia right now in August, and then we'll probably go through and give you a bit of a question and answer time. But there's a fair bit of information to be shared with you right now, so I'm not sure how much time will be left out with the question and answers. So if you have any questions that comes to your mind, start typing it in your comment box right now. So again, thank you for joining us through WhatsApp or Facebook or YouTube. If you're coming through YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you'll be notified every time we release one of these information, latest information about immigration releases. And also in coming weeks, we're expecting to produce a lot of information towards the new changes that are expected to be come out for financial year 2022-23. So right now, if you're coming from Facebook, hit that like button so you'll be notified every time we come out. And then YouTube, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you'll be notified again. So we're expecting to produce a lot of information. I'm actually struggling between video production and sharing information and discussing with clients with their matters at the moment, because there's fair bit of new changes and there's a lot of clients getting ready for the new changes coming up. So having said that, we'll just have a look at what's in our agenda for today, and then we'll go through the next step. Work visa, business visa, global talent, independent visa, general skill migration, new visa processing time, labor market testing, and I will talk about our new website as well. It's exciting for us all to talk to you about it. So let's jump into work visa categories straight away. Just a bit of a reminder for you all, if you are expecting to apply for employee nominated scheme, you can come by. You need to have the relevant experience, relevant education qualification or the experience to compensate if you don't have an education qualification. So where you don't have enough qualification to be qualified to a TSS visa, which is normally 2 years, you got a pathway through 407 training visa where you have a sponsor. So the main category for this is really good timing to talk about employee nomination visa in Australia, because there is a major skill shortage to our understanding in Australia, because we get a lot of queries from employers asking, can you guys help us with securing some staff? We cannot find enough staff in Australia right now. I mean, for an example, a couple of weeks ago I had a painting company call. We sort of holding all our jobs and we are losing our money that we signed up for contracts because I don't have enough employees to work as painters. And carpenters, I'll get quite a few job opportunities. I already shared this in social media. A couple of weeks back, we had been contacted by groups of pubs and restaurants from up north Queensland in regional area that they're looking for chefs and cooks. So if you're an employer, be in touch. We will educate you more. the initial consultation for you is free of charge, so be in touch with us. So we'll explain what are the criteria to be nominated and how can we help you securing a committed employee from overseas or a visa holder to work for you full time. And for employees who's looking to get employment opportunities in Australia, again, be in touch. We might be able to match you, or if you have an employer, bear in mind that this is matching or recruitment services is not part of our job categories, but we are happy to introduce you to relevant employers who can offer you a job opportunity to work with them, and that's a good pathway to the migration as well. And it all depends on what sort of occupation you're carrying and what sort of experience, English level you have, and what sort of work experience you carry, and that creates your pathway. So your ultimate permanent residency pathways through this is through via 186 visa. It's your permanent residency visa. You also have 191 if you were to get a regional occupation listed job under a 494. You can work in regional areas and metropolitan areas. There's some people find it complicated, but we find it very logical. So to our understanding, this is as much as we can simplify it for you, for your information. So we have generously shortened all the major requirements for these categories. So if you have any questions, or you're an employer looking for staff, or employee looking for staff, be in touch. We will simplify this journey for you, so you can invest more time in your business or your job, doing what you do to the best, so we can help you to gain your work visa or the work visa to permanent residency pathway. 186-482-494. They have their own specialities and requirement by their own selves, and then finding the right, most beneficial visa for your employer and also for your employee is what we can do to simplify it to the best of our knowledge and ability to current ever-changing requirements. So if you need any support in these areas, be in touch. We have all our contact details down below. You can contact us through email, website, phone calls, whichever the way you prefer. I mean, there's a lot of overseas employees contacting us through WhatsApp as well. So they're all down there. So just contact us through any of those. Then I would also like to remind, while we're in the same topic, lately there's been a major change for labor market testing. So when you especially when you're applying for 482 visa, you're required to undergo a labor market testing as a part of the requirement. So employers need to advertise the job opportunity at least for 28 days in certain way. One of the ways is you need to advertise this job opportunity in a prescribed way in jobbackyou.gov.au for that period, and get the responses back from the outcome that you receive from there. Lately, the government has changed the website details from JobBackTo to Workforce. So we're just confirming if you've done it in either one of them, it's still secured. So if you've done it in JobBackTo, that's fine because of the changes. And if you haven't done it, you must go into Workforce Australia now. Otherwise, if you've done it in JobBackTo, you can continue to do so to fulfill your 28 days. But they have shifted all the advertisements across anyway. So that's the work visa. If you require any support or as an employer or as an employee, we're happy to help you find your employee, or the right person suited the right way to help you with your operations. There are about 30,000 ENS visas allocated through the federal budget this financial year. So there's going to be lots of employees going to have opportunities, regardless, depending on your business category or your employment occupation category. Your requirement can vary depending on the category that you go through as well. So if you're a chef, you're very different to a cook, and if you're a cook, your pathway as a cook the beneficial pathway for you as a cook could be different to a chef. So there are a lot of occupations in the ANSCO list. How you can best suit your occupation to your job description and find the best pathway, we're always here to help you. So if you like any support from this area, be in touch. We're happy to share our knowledge and help you throughout there. So again, another interesting topic. Been getting a lot of calls, and I've got quite a bit of business visa clients who's asking what's the update at the moment. So currently the minimum requirements for business visa business visas got 4 main categories: 188A, B, C, and E. 188A is the category that you actively come to Australia and actively operate a business, where you also required to show that you have an operational background back home in wherever you are from. So you need to have at least 2 years of turnover that you can show through a business. The turnover has to be at least $750,000. If the current turnover from your home country is over 400,000, then the ownership can vary. Like, you need to have a major share of at least 33% of the business. If it's a public company, then you need to have at least 10% shareholding, or you can also use multiple companies, up to 2 companies, to show your turnover. So both the companies has to be directed by you if you're using 2 companies. The minimum requirement is, however, is 750,000 Australian dollars, and that has to be within last 4 years. It doesn't have to be 2 consecutive years. It can be, for an example, financial year 2020 and financial year 2022. So whichever the way you can pick, as long as it's within last 4 financial years from your country. Also, the net personal asset between the business and yourself with your spouse has to be at least $1.25 million to be eligible for this. The general requirement of age is you have to be at least below 55 years of age, but in exceptional cases we can, in certain states, we can ask the state government to consider expanding it up to 58, 60 sort of ages. So it depends on your background. There is a special general skill there is a special business visa calculator that they look into the points. They give you points for your age, your business experience, your turnover, your asset value. So from that, you have to score at least 65 points, and you have to show all the proofs, and more importantly, you have to show you have an expression of you have an invitation to apply for this visa by a state government. So each state or a territory will provide this requirements or the parameters for applying for this visa. So I've got quite a list of applicants waiting for state governments to be open. Like, most of the states already started giving out what's the invitation or the expectations of these applicants can look like for their state. With our discussions with certain states, they to our understanding, they're going to continue with the similar outlay from last year. So the protocols for invitation would be very similar. So we expecting we anticipating the state protocols to be released for the first round of financial year 2022 to 23 to be open very soon. So if you are eligible for any this category, be in touch. We will work on your file, work on your business plan. So as soon as the state government opens up the opportunity, bank will submit your expression of interest and try to get a sooner invitation for you so you can apply for your visa. And if you're onshore while you're applying for this visa, you may be eligible to apply for a bridging visa to stay during the processing time as well. So that's 188A for you. 188B, however, is a bit different to 188A. They don't expect you to actually be involved in a business, but they expect you to come and invest in Australia, and you have to demonstrate that you have at least 2 years of investment experience back home or in several countries, etc., and you need to have at least $2.5 million worth of net worth, and again you need to have 65 points demonstrated from the point test. If you don't have English is not a requirement for this visa unless you can score functional English through an English exam like IELTS or PTE. If you don't want to do it, you can also pay the secondary visa application charges. You need to be under 55 years of age for this visa. Any of the states, depending on which state you'd like to stay in Australia, can nominate you for this visa. And then this is again an invitation only visa. Once you get the invitation from the state government, you apply through your visa application. Once you get the application going, can take up to 12 months, 18 months, depending on how you do it. But we've seen generally around 12 to 18 month processing period for this visa. And so the investment, one important question a lot of people get confused with is at what stage you get to spend 2.5 million or transfer 2.5 million. So it has to be Australian dollars 2.5, not US dollars. This only you physically transfer this money once the application is been successfully granted. So you get the invitation, you apply for the visa. Once at the last stage of processing the visa, so it's not once it's granted. When everything else has been satisfied, by all the other criteria has been satisfied to the actual visa processing officer, the minister's delegate, they will then get you to transfer the said amount to the certain fund manager's account. So there's a lot to be followed by the guidelines to have a secure, proper transfer. So those things there's big involvement through fund managers in this process as well. There are certain level of advice we can give you to this visa in migration perspective, but when it comes to the investment perspective and finding the right fund manager, the fund managers has to be also government approved fund managers. There's only so many fund managers available that they've approved. So these fund managers will advise you the investment prospectus. So you can interview multiple fund managers to determine who's going to be the best suited for your funds to be managed by. 188C again is very similar. It's $5 million. The minimum stay in Australia is a lot lower with $5 million 188C application. Most of the other requirements are very similar. Instead of 2.5, it's 5 million, and there is no age limit for 188C significant investor visa stream. The other category that we don't have it listed here is 188E entrepreneur stream. Again, you don't need to show investment or the business involvement, but you need to show a good business plan that you can secure funding through a university in Australia or a entrepreneur seed funding that at least few $100,000 to be invested into your venture by an Australian Australian investor. So that's 188E, where you're a good entrepreneur who gets funding through the state governments. So that's it for the business visas. If you have any business visa inquiries, again, very good timing to get prepared, because state governments aren't ready yet to accept to issue you invitations. So it is important that you get your business plans together, get your documentation together, so you'll be ready at the time of the processing. So if you need any support, we have a good team of migration advisors, and we can say we'll be happy to help you through your process. Going into Global Talent Independent, this year the Global Talent Independent category has gone from the previous year's 15,000 to this year 8,448 visa opportunities. Within this, GTI is targeted through to globally export highly talented people from all around the world who's got good expertise in any of these 10 sectors, where you can see it on the left-hand side or the right-hand side. I'm not sure where the lady is pointing out. Under the target sectors topic, you can see resources, agri and ag technology, etc., etc. There's 10 target sectors and there's 10 sub-sectors. So what the government looking at is the global exposure, global expertise, highly income people who can come and support the COVID-19 post-COVID-19 economic recovery program, where you get involved to generate more job opportunities and also economic growth in Australia. So part of that protocol, if you're an expert in any of these sectors and currently earning over 162,000 Australian dollars annually or above, or you're a recently graduated PhD student with lots of exposure to the industry internationally, you'll be highly qualified for this sector. This is an invitation-only visa again, and fastest way to Australian permanent residency. So if you're in any of these sectors, if you're an expert, be in touch. We can help you get through to your invitation as soon as possible with proper guidelines. Let's move on to general skill migration sector, one of our favorite sectors. Currently, there's lots of information getting fed by the state governments. We are eagerly anticipating to see all this new information and the protocols from the state government. So with with the information we received from Queensland, for an example, they're expecting to the information we've received so far is the Queensland government's expecting to run a similar visa setup for what we had in last year, but we don't know exactly what it's going to be or when they're going to start. With 188 with general skill migration for this year, if you got the background, I think it's good timing to get ready and prepare your expression of interest. Most of our clients, we've got an expression of interest ready, application drafted. So as soon as the state opens, hit the button for the first round. So 190 last year, as per last year, you need to have at least 6 months work experience in Queensland, or 491 at least 3 months in a regional area. And 491 small business ownership, as long as you have a skill assessment together with 65 points or 50 points by yourself, because state provides 15. You may be eligible if you have bought a business and operated for 6 months, and you can demonstrate that you bought the business for $100,000 in Queensland. So it was one of the very successful small business migration categories from across the Australia. I must say, from my experience, what I've seen, Queensland was very successful in 491 small business owner, because anyone who's got at least 50 points, to get 50 points, it's quite simple. As long as you're under 45, age gets you points, and then your skill occupation gets you points, and the English gets you points, as long as it's professional or superior English. And together you can get these points quite good, but it'll be interesting to see how Queensland will react to the offshore applications. This year we expect that they will expand the application opportunities to offshore applicants as well, but I would love to see how it'll be for 491 small business owners, because you were required to be in Australia, operate a business for 6 months before you can apply. So I don't think this category would be open for offshore applicants unless they come up with a pretty good criteria for applicants to come by. So I have a lot of hopes for Queensland. If you already have a completed your course, you've got a skills assessment, you've done or you're about to do a English exam, and if you think you're qualifying for 190, 491 or 189 categories in Queensland, I'm happy to offer you a free consultation during next few weeks by myself or one of our expert migration agents. So contact us via any of these details to secure your appointment, and we'll do a free of charge one-on-one application looking at your personal background to get you suited and get you ready for this first invitation round in 2022 financial year. Let's go have a look at it. Victoria, again, don't have a lot of information about Victoria, how they're going to react this year yet to our information. Last year they've been quite slow in invitations, and also the business visas, they were expecting quite high point gain applicants to extend the invitation, and they took a while. Hopefully there'll be a positive and attractive migration program we are expecting from Victoria. New South Wales, last year we saw a very good migration program from New South Wales for 190 category, 491 category. 491 they had a really good program done for each sub regional areas. They've scattered those regional areas into a few different areas, and given the demanded occupations per that little portion of the region, rather than going an open region for everywhere, which is, I think, a very good opportunity for fulfilling the shortages in certain that particular area, rather than going across to everywhere. And also, Victor, we've seen a very good business visa program from New South Wales. I mean, New South Wales accepted most of the applications from 65, but New South Wales had a bit of a twist to business visa program last year. 188 ABC, especially 188A, they introduced target sectors. So they were expecting certain. They divided the state to Sydney-based areas and outside of Sydney-based areas, and then gave target sectors for a business where you are expected to operate your new business in Australia under those target sectors. And there were incentives and requirements depending on where and what you're going to do and how much you're going to invest. So ACT, where matrix is in place. So if you were to study in ACT, or if you have relatives in ACT, if you've been living in ACT, working in ACT, you get a lot of good opportunities. I've seen quite good, quick feedbacks from ACT invitations, so they got processed fairly quickly. But again, matrix is what you have to think of. ACT is still, as other states, still is in idle because they cannot offer you any invitation due to the closure of due to the federal government allocations not being released. So we're expecting an interesting program from ACT as well. Hopefully there'll be opportunities for offshore applicants as well. So ACT is expected to be open in next coming weeks or months. I'm not that informed about what's coming up soon. South Australia, very quite an interesting migration program they have. They have a very well set up state processing system. They have several 491 programs. They have quite good business visa system, and attracted to a lot of Victorian students as well, where they find it's they fulfill the South Australian requirement to get an invitation faster than other places. So a lot of people, a lot of students studied, international students who studied in Victoria especially, and some of from the other states also started migrating to South Australia. Again, the state's not open yet. Last year they gave opportunities for offshore applicants as well. So we are expecting a competitive migration program from South Australia this year as for both onshore as well as offshore migration applicants. And coming to Tasmania, Tasmania is already advertising their migration program to clients. So when as soon as they open and get the quota given, I'm pretty sure they'll open up very quickly. Again, Tasmania also invited people from offshore applications last year, so hopefully there'll be more application opportunities for offshore applicants too. So Tasmania has quite a good 190 as well as 491 program. They have splitted the 491 program into certain areas and 190. So Tasmanian graduated, Tasmanian employed visas. So this year, the best option or the twist we've got to see from Tasmania so far is no occupation requirement for subclass 491. So whatever the occupation, you'll probably have an opportunity to go and get yourself sorted. And also they don't expect you to come and work full-time. Part-times are accepted. 190 nominations also can have a skill assessment and employment from expanded list of skill occupation, not just the earlier skilled ones. This is for the employment category, and then moving into Tasmanian skilled graduates category. There's the new requirement is the 2 years can be 2 years cannot be from 2 different courses. Mario, if you go into the next, for this, the biggest twist we've got this year is they have avoided for you to be qualified for 2 years. If it's for the 2-year category, it cannot be combined. For an example, diploma and advanced diploma. So then you have to make sure that it is an advanced diploma for 2 years rather than diploma and advanced diploma, or certificate course in diploma, or so you have to be based. So some people come to Tasmania to study at least 1 year for their bachelor's and then 1 year in master's to get combined 2-year requirement. This is not acceptable anymore. So this is an important one. If you're currently studying in Tasmania and you looking to get in through the Tasmanian skill graduate category, it is important for you to get advice whether your course is going to be eligible. So please be in touch with one of the good migration and education counsellors to understand if your course is going to be eligible before getting it too late, and if you're not enrolled for the right course. So if you're expecting to go through this category, be in touch. We're happy to help anytime. Also, if not, talk to someone local, a registered migration or a qualified education agent. They'll be able to advise you whether your qualification is going to be suited for this category. Going down to business category, so like in Queensland, Tasmania also had a small business owner category where you can buy and operate a business for a little while and then apply for this visa. This year it has gone from 6 months to 12 months. It is a little bit of a disadvantage compared to opportunities in Queensland. So again, once with your present information, be in touch. We'll compare and advise you which state's going to be the better suited state for you, depending on your background, before you spend that $100,000 or whatever the investment that you're going to make towards your business venture for small business owner category. Let's move on to another wonderful state, Western Australia. I'm going to do a proper video going through to all these categories individually rather than just a outlay like this. But just quickly, Western Australia is also now announcing their migration category for coming weeks. I just picked up the 4911 in the second bullet's been 4911. It's a mistake, typo from our side, so apologies on that. But talking about migration program for general skill migration program for Western Australia, they have expanded the occupation list massively and giving opportunities. We've seen them doing it last year for giving opportunities to overseas applicants as well. So pretty much for 190 and 491 in Western Australia, they have a category allocated for general migration category and a separate category for graduate category. Again, under general category, they've got Schedule 1 and Schedule 2. as of for any other state as well, Western Australia, you have to fulfill the DHA requirement and 65 points. So you need to be you need to have general skill migration points of 65 points minimum, and you have to be below 45 years of age, and you need to have minimum IELTS or compete in English, IELTS or PTE or ET, whatever it is, unless you're New Zealand or Ireland, Canadian, what other countries? US, UK, United Kingdom, Republic of Ireland, United States, Canada, New Zealand are considered to have this minimum requirement, but you don't get point unless you sit for one of these. So you need to hit proficient English or superior English to get your points for this, depending on what points. Then depending on your categories, you get different requirements. So general, schedule 1, schedule 2, again different. They have given incentives towards the work requirements. Again, going in, it's going to take a lot of time. I'm going to skip through, but the interesting part is they have already advised how they're going to prioritize in certain categories. So live in Western Australia is the top number 1 priority for general category, and then rest of Australia is the second. Outside of Australia, they prioritized by occupation ceiling, general criteria, and what sort of DHA points or general skill migration points you're sitting at with as well. Going into graduate categories, they categorize people from managerial categories or the professionals to vocational. So PhD guys get the highest priority and come down to masters, graduate, blah blah blah, etc. etc. So again, Western Australia is already announced, and it's a very good migration program from Western Australia already outlined. So if you are interested again in migrating to Western Australia through General Skill Migration Program, or any state for that matter, if you have a skills assessment and already sitting, or you have already booked an English exam, and if you think you hit that 65 points, be in touch. We'll help you with the expression of interest. Our charges are quite competitive and low, but more importantly, we'd like to help you put together your application for the expression of interest. So you'll be invited in as soon as possible, and wherever we can, if we can suggest you to enhance your points in any of the ways, we will suggest. We have a lot of videos we've done in the past about how we can enhance your points, etc., and we are expecting to release quite a few videos on these topics. Look out for it. If you, again, as I always say, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, there's no better time than right now to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon, so you'll be notified as soon as we release one of those videos. Processing time's been a bit of a hassle for applicants last few weeks, months, because of right after the COVID. There's been there's been a lot of applications to visas, but also lack of staffing has created a lot of problems for processing side for immigration department, to what we've been hearing out. So they're increasing their staff levels by hundreds of people. So Mario said 140. I don't have official numbers on it, but the numbers are the staff numbers are getting increased. So we expecting, as per Honourable Minister's advice the other day, we're expecting faster processing now. So if your visa's been delayed for some reason, we're expecting these to be released very soon. So I've got quite a few visitor visa clients where part of the family is already here, and then he's the main applicant or one of the other applicants waiting for the decisions to be concluded. So hopefully those visas will be granted very soon. And also, more excitingly, I would like to introduce you, take the opportunity to introduce you to our new website right now. I think team's done a great job creating this new information, new website. So we've given away a lot of information to you in this website, and given calculators to general skill migration as well as business visas, so you can do it yourself. You can check what are they like, and so by clicking like this, you can see what pointers can you be downloaded, calculated, and also there are many visa categories, a lot of information about many visa categories. And also one of the very exciting one we introducing again, especially with this new website, is the occupation. This is going to be ongoingly changing and also improving part of this website. So that'll show you what sort of skill assessing authority you'll have to work to get your skill assessment, and provide you a lot of information about what's eligible criteria you got available for your occupation. So this is going to be improving every day in coming weeks, so you'll have a lot more information there. So we want to give away and simplify information as much as we can, so you understand where you stand in your own migration pathway. So I would like to dedicate a bit of time to answer some of your questions right now. If you have any questions regarding general skill migration or any of the migration matters, and type your question down below in YouTube in the comment section, or Facebook in the comment section. I can see there's many questions. I'll try to answer as many as possible. So in YouTube, I'll start with Arpit Patel, 494 nomination application process take now. I applied in March 2022 in labor agreement stream, but now I believe it's no response. Give me any Queensland. So it depends. It depends which category you applied for. What's your occupation? Are you the Far North Queensland Dharma category, or a labor agreement specialized to certain ones? It can, your March, this is August. So I guess in my experience, Arpit, is next coming 3 to 4 months, you'll starting to hear some news, or be expected to ask some questions in relation to if they require further information from your application as well. So, and also again, it depends on which category, but I'm pretty sure you're in a bridging visa. I know it's difficult to wait for a conclusion for you, and when you apply for an application, but I think stay calm, stay patient. You should get an answer soon. So that's as much as how much I can give you information. It can take up to 8 to 12 months in certain cases. So Pratik Sen, any idea when the Queensland 491 and 190 open? So yeah, this is what I've been talking about, Pratik. The latest discussions we had, they're all waiting for the state government allocations to be allocated. So they haven't been given the quota for the financial year. So what happens, each state's, like, we know, for an example, we're going to get 20,190 application opportunities across Australia. We know it's going to be 25,491 application opportunities across Australia. But the federal government has to tell each state government, out of that 25,491, Queensland's going to have so much of these opportunities. So until they get given that, the state governments cannot advise. So the priority, as per minister's directions, they've given to get rid of the backlog right now. So we're expecting this to be released very soon. I've got quite a few applicants waiting in the line to be to compete in the first round in 190. So if you're targeting to get into this, your best option is to get your points tested, get your background tested, and start applying for the UI now. Craft your UI now and get ready for the UI to be lodged as soon as they open the state. Nabdi Gabriel, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, Nabdi. G'day. As a Nigerian, those passport of origin is not in the TRA, TSS countries of passport. Am I expected from undergoing a skill assessment as a fitter general in TSS? Correct. So if you're not exempted, then you need to go through a skills assessment. If you need any support to put through your TRA application, happy to help you. Be in touch. Chetan, Adi, hi. Thank you for joining us. And we've got Ajit Amarasinghe. Again, please let me know. You just forwarded. Okay. Any chance of Michael Lau? Any chance of offshore statistician with 75 points for 491? Yeah, if you got 75 points by 491 by yourself, and if you fit the categories requirements for the rest, of course, Western Australia's already given the priorities. You can see it'll be a competing game this year. So if you think you have all the eligibility, you may have the opportunity to list yourself. So if you like to have a personal consultation or any support, happy to take a free initial consultation with you one-on-one. Be in touch with us. I'd like to discuss more. I've got a question in Facebook from Nemalali. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. You're a 482 visa holder and currently planning to get married next month, and I want to ask if it is possible to add my future wife in my visa, and I don't have any proof that we stayed together. Once you get married, then you can apply her to be a secondary applicant, of course. And if it's not a de facto relationship, you don't have to prove the background details because you're already legally married. If company is sponsoring me, then do I need to give IELTS? Depending on which category, when an employer sponsors you, it's mostly either 407, 482, 494 or 186. Depending on which category, of course, you need to demonstrate your English ability. Chetan, hi. Rishad Rizan, thank you for tagging. Mithun Chaturanga Devage, how much for bridging visa B apply? So I'm not sure of the question. I think on top of my mind it's about $140 or so. If you're asking how much it costs to apply for bridging visa B. Again, Nimalali's got a question. I have 482 visa and now I'm planning to get married. I think I answered this question already. So I've got a question from Chetan, if company sponsor me, then do I have to give IELTS? Yes, we answered that. Yep, I think that's it. So thank you for joining us, gentlemen, ladies, and it's been a wonderful session explaining and sharing our knowledge with you. If there's anything we can do to simplify your migration pathway or help you with your migration expectations, or if you're an employer looking for support from putting together your employment applications for your future employees, we're happy to help. We have a good team of people. Be in touch through any of these contact details, and we will help you through. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, it's a very good time to subscribe right now, because in coming weeks we'll be releasing a lot of latest news together with this opening of these state governments and the new changes with GTI and etc. for this financial year. So thank you for joining us again, and thank you for watching this video, and stay blessed. We'll hopefully see you again in a live session first week of next month in September on Thursday around 3 o'clock. Until then, stay happy, stay well, stay calm, and God bless you all. Thank you.